Yeah, it's recording.
Okay. Oh yeah, now it says that it's recording.
Yeah. Yeah. Here we are.
Good.
So, like I said, thank you for agreeing to do this interview. I have some questions that are from my, my curiosity, but at the same
Okay.
time, I have questions that some people gave me because they wanted to know some things.
Okay.
So, if you're okay with it, let's start from the beginning. Like, were you familiar with the collector universe, or how did you decide you wanted to be this character?
No, I wasn't familiar with the first movie. And got the audition to audition for the part. Um, and then when I got the audition, I did more research about the first film, and what it was about, and because I hadn't seen a lot of those movies like that necessarily. Um, and But I really had a fun time auditioning for Abby. Um, uh, I can't remember. I think the scene that they had me try out or audition with was I there were two of them, and I don't remember what the first one was, but I think the second one was oh, I remember. It was the scene that was in the hallway where I'm following the lead character, her I'm following her, but then I get scared and kind of back away. It was that scene. And then there was one other scene. Um and Yeah, I just had a really fun time doing it, and then they kind of changed the part a little bit for to make it more like how I saw the character. So,
Oh, that's great. So you kind of brought your own interpretation of the character to the movie. That's
yeah,
absolutely awesome.
yes, yes. I think because I'm very tiny and and just tiny petite. They went more of the direction of her being more like a doll, like how they dressed me and
Yeah,
stuff like that, because of my
exactly.
size. Yeah.
Yeah, I saw on Twitter that you said something like, "I am maybe tiny, but I carry a punch."
Yeah, yeah,
So,
yeah.
so
Yes.
yeah, it's interesting because you see this girl Abby, who is of course very petite, but at the same time she's like so sweet. Like she doesn't seem like she can actually throw a punch. So, some one of my questions was if you see something that you identify yourself with Abby.
Um, I like the fact that Abby was she's kind of a survivor, and she did what she needed to do, what she thought she needed to do to
Yeah.
survive, and kind of fooled everybody, which I thought was pretty great. Like, I didn't necessarily see it coming that she was trapping everybody and tricking everyone into just leading them into his arms, basically. I fun because she was really good at convincing them all that she was kind of this innocent victim. Um, but then turns out she was luring them all into a trap. So I like that about her, in that she was, despite being treated really badly, she just was a total survivor, and she just did what she thought she needed to do to survive, even though she's
Yes.
crazy. But yeah.
Yeah, but at the same time, as an actress, did you live that moment like with some kind of victory? Like, yes, this is my moment. This is when I'm going to lock everyone and betray everyone? Or,
Yeah, it was fun. I mean, it was fun. That scene was fun, but it was also really difficult because it went right into a bunch of stunts. Um,
yeah,
all of the bloody her death. So it was a really fun scene, but then we had to do it really slowly because we had to break it down so that then she could fall backwards, and then activate the trap and all of that. So I remember it was a really fun day, but everybody in the cast was really sick. They all had the flu. Um, it, so it was it, I was having a really good time, but everybody else was very tired. And and then it was really long because they had to just because we had to deal with stunts and all the blood and everything like that. It takes a really long
So,
time.
so that scene was made by a stunt, or was it you, like in that kind of trap?
So it was me. The
Oh,
only thing I think they had a stunt person do is I think they shot separately the foot going down on the nail.
yeah.
That wasn't my foot. They used like a stunt person or a fake foot or something. I wasn't there for that shot, but everything else was me. And they had it rigged so that it was like um, they looked very sharp and pointy, but they were actually kind of on the soft side. And so it
Yeah.
was all set up so that it pulled me back. Um, and it was all one shot where they pulled me back, and then they had things attached to my body that squirted the blood out. And then I also had blood held in my mouth. I was holding blood in my mouth so that I could spit it at the right time.
Yeah, yeah, I saw it. Like it was somehow disgusting, but at the same time, it was really interesting because I always thought, like, I always wondered how was this made? Like, was it difficult or was it fun? Because from what you are telling me, it was a bit complex, like a bit difficult. But was it fun? Like
It's
being
super
there?
fun. Stunts like that are really fun. The only thing that can be a little stressful, and in this case, we had to get it right in I think 2 takes because we only had two backup dresses that that
Oh,
were clean. And once
yeah.
that blood gets on fabric, it stains it. So we had to do it right. Um, we couldn't get it wrong too many times, otherwise we'd run out of dresses.
Yeah,
So
I understand.
that
I get it.
that was stressful. Just the timing. I had to, it was the timing of me spitting the blood at the right time, and then also the timing of the special effects people. They were over on the side activating the things that squirted out. So we all had to there was a lot of practicing before actually
Yeah.
doing it, and then I think we were able to get it. I think we got it in 1 take, um, but yeah, it's fun. It's always really fun to get like have lots of blood, and um, yeah, I always find it really really fun to do stuff like that. So
So, so yeah, you told me that you weren't familiar with horror movies. So this was
yeah.
like a big, a big step. Like I'm going to go in an adventure from this, like doing this, and you kind of enjoyed it. So it's like awesome. So,
Yeah, it was really fun.
yeah, so you told me now that you mentioned the dress. Some people wonder because you told me that Abby looked. It's actually true that she looked very doll-like. So some people wonder what's the reason behind the makeup? Because some people think that she is, painted like that. Her face is done like that because he wanted her to appear like a doll, but other people thought it was because he just loved to see people struggling. So, what's your hypothesis or theory in regards to this makeup?
Yeah. So I think they probably made it a little bit vague on purpose so everybody could kind of have their own theory. Um, but what I remember talking to the director about was that the collector definitely kept her dressed up like a doll, kept her in a room that was like doll like, kept her in the box like you would a doll. And so the makeup was just kind of a manifestation of her um, wanting to please him. So we decided that she actually put the makeup on herself, but that she probably didn't. She obviously isn't super right in the brain. She's
Yeah,
a
of
little
course.
crazy, and also just maybe didn't even have like a proper mirror to do it. So she just kind of, that's why she looked so extreme. But we had decided that it was Abby that put the makeup on, and it was just her trying to really please him by looking even more like a doll, but also it reflected her mental state, that she was definitely not well in the head, and you could see it by how she was doing her makeup.
Yeah, because then she lied to Elena because she said that the collector did that. So that drives me to another question because I saw that she had these cuts in her hand, like she had these
Yeah.
bloody cuts. So I was wondering if, at the same time, happens that some people think he did it to her, and some people believe that she did it to herself to kind of show him that, okay, we are both in the same boat, like we are both in the same side. So what's your opinion
Oh,
on that?
interesting. I should go back and watch because I'm trying to remember the cuts. For some reason, I thought that we had discussed that she possibly, like, she definitely had injuries that were from her trying to escape. Um,
Oh,
and those definitely, whether it was escaping the room or trying to escape the trunk, I think she
yeah.
definitely had injuries resulting from that. Um, However, I think it was probably a combination because I think, she definitely injured herself in that way. I don't think it was necessarily deliberate self harm. So I would say that it was either her harming herself trying to escape, or definitely, I think he definitely physically harmed her during her time there, for sure, especially at the beginning as a way to get her to kind of break down and submit. Yeah.
Yeah, so true. And how do you, I'm an actress myself. Well, I'm studying to be an actress, honestly. But I always wonder, like, how do you kind of build a connection as an actress with the actor to portray such a twisted relationship? Like, how do you feel comfortable with each other? Because, of course, there wasn't much physical touch, but at the same time, like, it was very psychological. So, how did you, like, getting in that mindset with the other actor, like?
Yeah, and are you specifically referring to the actor that played the collector,
Yeah.
or okay. Well, we didn't really interact a ton. I mean,
Oh,
there weren't a lot of scenes between the two of us, So, and the collector was actually played by um one
Randall
of the
Alter.
main stunt men.
Yeah.
So I mean, he's not really an actor, he's just a stunt guy. So, so instead, because we didn't have a lot of scenes together, I just kind of, um tried to picture in my mind that, she just definitely went to like a childlike state where she saw the collector as a loving parent, and so
Oh,
who she wanted to please. And that was kind of the dynamic that I took, especially towards the end there, when she's so happy that she did it for him, like what he wanted. um and so I just, because when people are traumatized, they tend to regress, they tend to become childlike and submissive.
yeah.
So that's kind of the dynamic that I felt like um that it was more a parent figure versus maybe, like, I don't know, like her being in love with him or something like that. I don't think that's what it was. It
Oh,
was
some
definitely
people
more.
actually think that. Like, some
Yeah,
people
I
actually
didn't
think
feel
that.
that. Yeah.
Like some twisted Stockholm syndrome, like something like that.
Yeah. Yes, it definitely is Stockholm syndrome for sure. But I think it's more of I found it to be more of a parental um figure where she wanted to please in that way versus
Yeah, it makes
romantic.
it makes so much sense now that you say this because actually, even though the collector was wearing a mask, at the end of the movie, he removed his mask, like he's in his normal house, and you can see it very clearly that Abby was so much younger than him. So
Yeah.
it makes so much sense now. Like I never thought about it. So
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah. I thought it was just better to keep it. It made more sense to me, especially since she was dressed up to be younger, and um yeah, that's how I chose to play it. And that's what seemed to work. But it was odd. I had to create a relationship with an actor and a character that I didn't really interact with at all on screen. So
Oh,
that was something I had to just
so
build in my mind.
so there weren't any cutscenes?
Mm-mm.
Oh,
No.
because we all want to know, like, if there was some background, like some Abby background, because we see her in the beginning of the movie. If you actually pay attention, like there is a picture on the news, but we don't have like much detail about her. So
Yeah. Yeah, no, there was nothing cut. Which I was, as an actor, you always have your stuff cut. There was some like parts of scenes that were definitely cut down, but no actual full scenes were cut out. Um, so yeah, so no, I didn't. There was no like bonus footage of me and the collector hanging out or or
but
anything like that. No.
yeah, but did you imagine like some background, like some, personal imagination, like some background of her?
Yeah, I mean, I definitely decided that she had been there for a very long time. We're talking like years, for her to get to that state, and that she had been kidnapped.
Yeah.
And I think in my mind, I don't know, I don't remember if they specifically said in the movie, but in my mind, she was on the younger side, like 18, 19, in that
Yeah.
age, where she was just coming out of adolescence into adulthood, and so still pretty vulnerable, and also young enough that the lead female character could be, she could develop that dynamic of kind of her being her protector, versus if they had been the same age, it would have been a different dynamic. So
Yeah,
I definitely saw her on the younger side, more vulnerable, and that just made her an easier mark, an easier, mark for him taking advantage of her.
I see. Yeah. And what was it like to work with all these people? Like, was this like, a good environment? Like, did you feel comfortable? Was it fun? Because you told me, from what you told me, yeah, it was like it sounds like you discovered some bloody stuff like you weren't familiar with, but at the
Yeah,
same time,
yeah, I had done one horror movie before this that never got released, um, and and then after this, I've done one other kind of like a horror movie, but this was my only like bloody horror movie. I've done some bloodier sci-fi TV stuff. But this is one of the big like horror movie films I've done. Um, it was really fun. Because I was doing a TV show at the same time. I was like a very um uptight secretary, and I wore like really pretty clothes, and my hair was perfect, and um, so it was really a nice change, to go from that to playing Abby, because she was such a mess, and everybody was just so great. Marcus, who's the writer director, Marcus
yeah.
Dunstan, who I'm so excited is going to be in charge of the new Final Destination movies, which is really cool.
Oh, that's
Um,
nice.
yeah, he's doing a new Final Destination film. He is just like, he looks like a young Santa Claus, and he's super jolly and really, really happy. I mean, he makes really bloody movies, but he's so happy, um, and just loves the genre so much. He loves horror so much, that it's always a good time on set with him, because he just gets so excited. And when something goes well, or when something's super gross, or when something's really bloody and disgusting, he just gets so excited, and he's clapping and yelling, and just he's he just sets a really beautiful tone on a set. Like everybody has a good time. And I'm still good friends with the lead, Emma, and we became good friends. And but everybody was just really lovely to work with. We were just having a good time. It's a lot of work. Emma worked really hard, because being the lead of a movie like that is long hours, and
Yeah.
um, it's really hard work. But everybody was having a great time, and yeah, I mean, it's just fun to run. It's hard work, but it's really fun to run around and be scared and do creepy stuff. And it's good. It's fun. I had a great time. I would do it
So,
again in a heartbeat.
so if Abby didn't die, would you be interested in, would you have been interested in continuing this character?
Absolutely. I would have loved to see an older Abby and how she like got more and more crazy. I was actually really bummed that she died, even though her death was so great. But I was
It
bummed
breaks
because
my
I was like,
heart. Like
I know, I was like, no, she's not gonna
it
come
breaks my
back.
heart every time. Like I watched it, The Collector for like I don't know, like 10 times maybe. I'm a big fan, and every time she dies, like I skip that part. Like I go
I
straight to
know.
the Collector entering like the room, and then
Yeah,
because like
I
I can't handle it.
know. It's so sad. It was really
Yeah,
sad for me too. And so yeah, I would have loved to come back as Abby. Uh yeah, but we had a really good time. It was great. I mean, I also got the flu during it, but I still don't remember having a bad time even when I had the flu. It was just really fun. And yeah, I can't say enough good things about Marcus and everybody that was working on it. They were all really, really kind. And um, you'd think it would be like a dark kind of serious um, tone on set, but it was not at all. It was really joyful,
that
which
sounds
was good.
so nice.
Yeah.
So maybe not as savvy, but not as savvy, but maybe as an actress, like would you be interested in continuing these horror movies path, or you would be interested
Yeah.
in doing other stuff? Like,
Absolutely. I mean, it all kind of depends on, if the script is good and the character's interesting. And often it's the tiny little parts like Abby in these movies that are really the most interesting to me because they're usually the most extreme. If you're the lead of a film like that, it can be hard because usually you're expected to look really pretty the whole time, even though you have blood everywhere, and it's just a lot of
mm,
pressure. And I much rather be like the supporting character that gets to be a weirdo, and but I would love it. I mean, I if the script is good enough and it's a good story, and if Marcus was directing, I would do it in a heartbeat. I wouldn't even need to know what the part was, just because he's such a joy to work with. Um, but yeah, I would love to do vampire movies. I think those are really great,
oh,
and
that
there's a
sounds,
lot of blood. I love
yeah.
a good vampire film or zombie movies. Um, any of that, I think is really fun. So if the script is good, it's why I do a lot of sci-fi because I think sci-fi is just really fun and you get to do things that you wouldn't do in normal kind of a normal world.
Yeah, it's true. But
Yeah.
you said this that if you are the lead, like you have to look somehow pretty all the time. But Abby, I don't know if it was your intention or not, but Abby looked adorable all the time. Like
Oh,
when
that's
she
so
looked at the camera, when she looked at the camera, she was like the reflection of that doll. Like there was a doll on the camera,
yeah.
and Abby was so pretty, like so adorable.
Oh, good. Oh, thank you. That's
But
very sweet.
you're welcome. But maybe if you have to change like one thing about Abby, because we talk about like what we like about Abby, so maybe if you have to change one thing that you think some characteristic that you choose.
Well, I was really kind of like I think if I could go back and change it, I would change it to like maybe they think that she tricked them, but actually she was tricking the collector to help them get out. Like that's
Oh,
what I wanted. I wanted her to kind of be the hero. They didn't go for
that's
that though,
very
but
very
it
interesting.
would have been really
Yeah.
cool if they had thought, "Oh no, Abby totally tricked us," and actually what it was is I was thinking that I was making the collector think I was doing what he wanted, but actually I was helping them get out. That's really what I was hoping for the whole time.
That's
Um,
very clever.
yeah,
Like,
that's what I would change because
yeah.
I thought that could be cool. Because then you'd be like, "Oh no, she's bad. Oh no, she's good." It would have been really kind of fun.
Yeah, I see.
Yeah.
So, as an actress, or maybe just as a plain viewer, like when you saw your work, like when you saw the movie, generally speaking, but also maybe in particular about Abby, what did you think? Like, what was your first impression?
Oh gosh. Well, the last time I saw it was in the theater, when it came out. I saw it on the big screen, for the premiere. Um, I remember being very nervous, that it was gonna that I because I wasn't sure if it was gonna turn out. Um, no, I thought it was really good. I thought, I liked that she came across as creepy and and also sympathetic. Um, I usually am okay with. I don't have. Um, I get nervous watching my work, the final product, but I don't. It doesn't usually bother me. I'm usually, feel good about it, that it's done, and I'm
Yeah.
satisfied. So yeah, I just remember being in the audience and everybody in the audience seemed like they were having a really good time, which and really enjoying it, which that means everything as long as they're enjoying themselves. And so they all seemed to be really having a great time, and they were all totally surprised that she died and everything. So I felt like we did our job.
Yeah, I can tell you that I don't know if you're familiar with Tumblr, but I can tell you that people actually love that movie. So,
Great.
so yeah,
Oh,
they
good.
you have Abby fans like everywhere.
Oh,
So,
good, good, good. That's
oh
so
my
good.
God, your camera! Yeah, now I'm seeing you again. I don't know
Sorry,
your
I think
camera.
I had a call come in and then I had to
Oh,
decline it. It's all good.
oh, so sorry. You have to
No, no,
leave.
no. No,
Oh,
it's not. It was just a
that's
friend of
fine.
mine calling in. All good.
So, this one is a question that I received from one of, if I can call them followers, but one of them asked me, he wanted to know which were the least favorite things to film and which were the most enjoyable to film on set.
Okay. Ooh, okay. I would say the most enjoyable was I think that I had the most fun shooting the scene where we first see Abby in her little room. Um I really enjoyed filming that scene. Um and I didn't really have a least favorite, but the whole sequence where she's screaming that you're all gonna die, and then she gets punched in the face and then kind of stumbles back. Um, I guess that would be my least favorite, only because um, it was just kind of what's the word? Um, we just had to do it a lot in like kind of tiny steps, so we weren't able to do
Yeah.
the whole scene as one scene, so it felt kind of stilted and like not so and it had to be super precise. Like I couldn't react to the punch and just fall back how I wanted to. I had to fall back in a certain pattern and then
Mhm.
respond to stepping on the nail. So it was just a little tedious.
Yeah, we
It's
don't
just
we don't see it when we watch the movie, but actually it's so true. Like the work that is behind the camera or behind the scenes, it's so hard. Like I remember,
yeah.
we have a subject at university that is working like in front of a camera, and we learn these marks on the floor that you have
Yes.
to sometimes you have to step in a particular position to be able to have the camera pointed good at you. So
Yes,
so
I
yeah.
know. So you have to be thinking of many things at one time, and then when you're doing stunts, on top of that, you're having to you're trying to act like you really got punched, so your body wouldn't be that controlled, but you do need to be controlled because you have to land in a certain spot. So it can be a little meticulous, and it could take a long time. The only other thing that was, and it wasn't part of the shooting necessarily, but getting the cuts and everything and all the makeup
Oh,
put on not put on took a long time, but
yeah.
both putting it on and taking it off at the end of the day was, because when you're done with a long day of shooting, you don't want to be sitting there for an hour while they take all of
Yeah.
the
So
special
so true.
effects off. And so that was kind of a bummer. I remember being really tired and just like wishing I could just go home and like forget about them or rip them off, but they have to like carefully take them off so they can use them for the next day. And then like use special remover for all the blood and all that. So it's just, it takes a long time. So that's never that fun.
I
That's
see.
probably my
Yeah.
least favorite.
And was it like hard to be like inside that blue box? Like were you
Yeah,
actually like inside the box?
I was
Was it
inside
like
the box. Yeah. No, it was fun actually because I was able to like emotionally get into it helped me connect with her by actually feeling what that space would feel like. Um, but yeah, I was in the box, and I don't know if that was originally in the script. I feel like Marcus, we kind of came up with it on this kind of spur of the moment that she would be in the
oh,
box, or it was just I remember it being not originally. It was like a new idea to have her kind of be in there, but I could be misremembering. But yeah, no, I liked it, but I'm not really claustrophobic, so
oh.
it didn't bother me that much, and I didn't have to be there for long. But
You're lucky because if I had to do that, like I could be screaming, like the whole movie would
yeah,
be screaming.
yeah,
so
no,
so yeah, I was wondering if you were in Abby's place, like if you as Erin, what would you do? Like what would you change? What actions like would you imagine that you would change, or maybe do the
I
same?
think so. I think probably. I would like to think that I would have helped them escape along with myself, rather than lure them into a trap. Um, that would mean that I was, a lot more mentally strong than Abby was. But um, that's really, I mean, I would like to think that if, somebody came along and wanted to help me get out, that I would be able to see that that was a good idea rather than being so brainwashed. Um, yeah, I mean, yeah, that's
Or
I would
maybe
like to
throw
hope.
or maybe throw that punch that
Maybe,
you were
yeah,
saying.
yes.
Yeah.
Exactly,
so
exactly.
so
Um,
so my last question for tonight or for your afternoon, because we are like in different hours.
yeah.
Are you planning on watching The Collective? Because it comes out, I think it was going to come out this year, but I don't know yet.
Is it
Like,
delayed? Yeah. I don't know. I knew that there was another one coming out, but I just didn't know when. And I don't know, I don't think it's the same writer director. I don't think Marcus did it, but maybe I could be wrong.
um,
Because he's been
I
pretty
don't
busy. I'm
know.
not sure if it's the same.
I think it is.
Is
Like
it him?
I don't know. I'm not sure. I'm not sure, but
Okay.
I think it is.
Okay. If it's him, I will for sure watch it again, or watch it. And maybe if it's not, I will still. But if it's him, then I definitely will because I'm such a fan. Um, and I just think he's great. So yeah, I should look into that. I feel like I remember hearing that there was another one coming, but then I didn't hear anything about it. So maybe it was delayed or something. But yeah, I'll
Yeah,
definitely check
because
it
of
out.
COVID. I think it's because of COVID that.
Okay.
Yeah.
That makes sense. That makes sense. Yeah, they probably wanted to release it when more people could go to the theater or something.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah. Yeah. We will have to wait. But
just
yeah.
a little. Yeah,
So thank you so much. I really appreciate that you took your time to do this. Like I'm so happy.
absolutely.
Like I've been a fan of this movie like from I think it was 2012,
Hmm.
like when it came out. You know, I always adored Abby. So, so thank you so much. It made me really, really happy. So,
Oh, you're so welcome. And it's just, we make a lot of things as actors, and then you just never know if people out there are still enjoying them. So it's really lovely to hear that people are still watching and loving it. And that's great. That's why we do it. So thank you for reaching out. That means a lot.
so true and so nice. So,
Yeah.
so thank you a lot. And if you give me permission, I'm gonna post this on YouTube so I can
Yeah.
post it on my blog.
Yeah.
If you're okay with it. So,
Absolutely.
thank you, and I hope you have a really, really good afternoon and a good day.
You too.
So,
Stay safe out there.
thank you. You too. Please take care. So,
Okay. Thank you so much. Thanks, Melissa.
bye bye. Thank you.
Bye. Thank
Bye.
you.